as a way to negate it from Agony. And here we go. Alright, the draft is starting, and it is gonna be the Hecarim on first ban, as expected here. Let's see if Ratones reply with the Wukong ban, as so many have been doing against Agony. No, okay, fair enough. I mean, Zeri against Hido. Hido's main character, or one of the main characters. We also see Agony doubling down here into the Lucian, so as far as predictions go, these are the champions we were expecting Agony to ban. I'm really looking forward for the quarterfinals Fearless draft. I hope you guys are too. There's gonna be thanks to how Fearless works, it just means that if a game has just played and then they play the next one, they cannot play the 10 champions that were played in the previous game, and it continues on until the end of the series. So by the end there's 20 champions and 10 bans, so 30 champions you cannot pick. On the side of Ratones, the Aurora ban was not something I predicted. We do see the Hui ban against Living, and we also see the Aurelian Soul against Starforger from Agony. Speaking of Agony, they first picked the Orianna. We've seen them do this before. I'm not sure if Orianna is a first pick strength right now, but maybe Living Dream is very comfortable on this champ. It also combos well with a lot of junglers and support picks. Let's see what Ratones go for. I'm pretty sure they're gonna pick up a mid lane pick here and maybe the AD carry. But let's see, it's gonna be Vladimir. Okay, Vladimir into the Orianna. I would assume it's Orianna favored. Vladimir tends to do a bit, tends to have a bit of a harder time against constant damage. So I'm sure Starforger just wants to farm up, get to a strong mid game and take it on from there. Let's see what the next pick is gonna be. With the Vladimir, we could also go for something like Rel potentially here, or something deeper like Leona to help keep people in place for Vladimir to dish out his damage. Let's see, it's gonna be Zac potentially, yes, and is locked in. So Zac Vladimir, I think is a very strong combination. Very early to pick on Zac. We should be seeing champions that counter his playstyle. Stuff like Poppy, stuff like Milio, stuff like Janna are all options that Agony could be going right now to counter what Zac wants to do. But if not, Vladimir's ult deals extra damage for all the magic damage received in the time while they got marked. So Zac is just going to be adding on into that. Interesting choice here with the Galio. Very interesting. I would assume they think it's a Zac top lane for Gator Gold rather than for jungle. So they're going with the Galio top to face off against the Gator Gold Zac. Very interesting indeed. We also see the Jinx pickup here from Hido. He played the last game against Whimsy and Joy. Had a very good mid to late game, but the early game was not favoring him at all. In fact, we do see the Lucian ban potentially as a way to speak up for the last game played, where he did play against the Lucian Nami. Alright, Ratones here thinking about it. They hover the Smolder, but they lock in the Sivir. So Sivir into the Jinx. Not too sure who's favoring who here, but I guess Sivir does get an easier push than Jinx. Let's see how it goes here with the next round of bans. So Ratones are thinking about jungle pick here and potentially the support pick. I imagine Lulu and Wukong. Yes, exactly. Would be the bans I would think so. I'm watching this from a Sicilian pizzeria. Ratones better win this. Nice. Red Road Rebel, the man, the myth, the legend. The Nico player is in Sicily enjoying a pizza. Enjoy. Have a bite on me, alright? Oi, oi, oi. Lucky Warrior with the Zac hype. So here it is. Agony are actually thinking of banning the Emilio. Actually, hovering the Lulu ban. Interesting choice. We know Pullu likes to play the Lulu. Even the Milio. Wow! Agony banning Lulu and Milio. I did not expect this. I was expecting more Ratones to maybe ban one of those two picks. Wow, I'm really curious what the next picks are gonna be. There's the Karma, pretty much one of the only enchanters left. Now Janna is still available. Do Jinx Janna do well into Karma Sivir? I'm not too sure about that. Thinking about Seraphine for Ratones. Okay. Interesting. They might think that Jinx isn't too strong early, but Agony here could pivot into a very early focus support and run over the bot lane. The question is, does Pullu play this kind of support, which I don't think he does. I think it's gonna be a Braum pickup or a Janna here, most likely, with a bit more of a tanky engaged jungler from Agony. But let's see how they go. Pullu usually favoring the Enchanter playstyle, but they did ban Lulu and Milio. Okay, so they go for the Trundle in the jungle. Alright, fair enough. Wash Ratones have yet to pick a jungler, or maybe they yet to pick a top lane. Let's see. Thing is that Gator Gold doesn't really play those AD picks to abuse the Galio top lane and send Zac in the jungle. Trundle against Zac, I think is Zac favored. Of course, Trundle can do a lot to negate what Zac wants early on, but Zac just farms up a lot and can really outscale Trundle. We also see the Rakan from Pullu. Alright, fair enough. Pullu is a great Rakan player, but Rakan jinx into Seraphine Sivir. I'm not too sure how this works out. Pretty sure Sivir just gets in the push, and then we can get some nice ganks from Varsal. In the meanwhile here, Wash Ratones will be revealing. It was gonna be Zac top, alright, and it will be Xin Zhao in the jungle. I don't know why they're picking Xin Zhao though, because Xin Zhao is heavily countered by Trundle. It just might be a comfort pick, I guess. They can't really go Sejuani, no melee characters at all, which is usually what they usually go for. Alright. So those are your picks, guys. I'm gonna be doing the poll, and let me know who you think won the draft from what you're seeing. Just waiting to see if we can start the lobby. Again, you have agreed. We're waiting on Wash Ratones to call for it. Hopefully not taking too long. Have a look at the picks, guys. See what you think will go. I think Rakan or Yana could be very strong, and then Galio alts on top. The issue I have with Agony's comp right now is that Rakan usually a secondary engage champion, and Agony don't have the primary engage. So yeah, I mean Agony are kind of lacking a core part in their comp, which is who starts off the fight. Now granted, Wash Ratones need to abuse this, right? So they need to be able to sort of stay out of range of Agony. Wash Ratones kind of have a better engage, you know, they have the Zac starting of the fights, the Seraphine follows up, Xin Zhao peels for Sivir, and then Vladimir is just doing his things in sort of while the chaos is happening. So in terms of team fights, I kind of prefer Wash Ratones. But from what we've seen, I mean, if Fido gets ahead, Agony can just sort of start any objective. Wash Ratones are forced to engage. Hido just kites out a bit, we get a big Oriana, gets a first reset, and Hido just wins the game. Living and Hido have been playing exceptionally this event. Grantless, Varsal and Pullu not too far behind. So it's really hard to go up against Agony. We've all seen what they've done to Aversio. Aversio are winning, but in the end it was well calculated choices from Agony that got them ahead. Wash Ratones a bit on that revenge arc. We've seen some strange decision making earlier on, and they kind of fall apart later on, but Gator has been able to keep them up and alive alongside alongside Ventus. They've been doing a good job on this team to keep it afloat here. So Agony or Wash Ratones? Alright, let's go into the game screen, guys. Or not. No. Yay. Alright. Alright guys, are you ready for some action? I for sure am. I hope this game goes a bit longer than what Aversio did to Wash Ratones. I'm really looking forward to some good action. But if this game disappoints, Sultan included. Finally, Wash Ratones versus Agony. Let's see. Woo! Let's give it a go. Alright, let's see if we get some early aggression. Usually it's the classic 5-point start. Everyone just hanging up and around. No one wants to play it too aggressive. On the off chance something bad might happen. Let's see. Pullo's leading the pack here. Ventus drops his ward and it will be taken away as Agony here will continue on. They fake going out the bush, but in reality they're continuing on their hot pursuit. They know Seraphine and Sivir can't really do anything to stop them. See a nice intelligent usage there of the recall from Don Ricardo. He goes back to base rather than face checking. I assume Wash Ratones are assuming that Agony are still here. We do see the ward dropped from Pullo as well, deep in Wash Ratones jungle. And it is spotted by Ventus. It appears like Wash Ratones wants to drop a ward of their own on their own blue buff. And it will be dropped by Don Ricardo. Alright, nice little play there in the early game. Good to see, good to see. Better than nothing, I'll take it. Oh, an early trade here by Hido and Pullo. Where's the damage coming from? It just seems like Hido's cheating. I don't know how he does it. Meanwhile here, Grantless picking the Galio into the Zac top. Fairly sure he's confident on that pick, as it was being reserved. Also see Agony dropped the ward on Raptors here. They are aware of Lil Maserati's position. We should be seeing Hido and Pullo starting to drop the wave or to crash it and go for a recall just before they could get ganked. Varsal crossing into enemy territory here. Now Agony should know that this is warded. And we see Pullo walking on up here. And he will be spotted on a ward. Now Lil Maserati is forced to back off just for the sake of the matchup. Trundle just completely destroys Zinzao in a 1v1. Lil Maserati is forced here to split the map. Of course the delay in the action does mean that Varsal will be 2 to 3 camps up in terms of speed alone. And we could be seeing a potential dive here on the Wash Ratones bot lane if they get poked far enough. And in fact, we did see some pressure here from Varsal. But the longer it takes for Agony to make a move, Lil Maserati will negate his drawback. Oh, we see the first blood getting dropped here as Pullo does the dive. They focused on Ricardo and do drop him. Now Varsal does get the first blood there. At the very least it's not in the hands of Hido. But it is a very good initiated play by Agony here. Controlling the map essentially, as Lil Maserati was forced to be on the other side in that case. Let's see here, no major CS differences just yet. We do have 6 CS up for Hido, which is an entire wave if you think about it. But other than that, everything looks quite equal across the board. Oh, there's the Galio E being used to deny Zac's E as well, as Gator Gold and Grantless are getting into a bit of a fight. Should be seeing some aggression around this first dragon, as both junglers have yet to recall. Varsar starting his first, we see Lil Maserati also recalling at the same time. Now they're about equal in CS. So yeah, I mean this dragon should be a big fight. I still think it's quite Agony favor just for the way that Trundle Zinzao works, which is a bit crazy to me, since Wash Ratones did pick the Zinzao into it. A lot of good AP options could have sufficed against the Trundle. Brand recently is getting turbo buffed as well, and it does pretty well into the Rakan as well. We see the CS starting to increase here. Somehow Hido has managed to get about 10 CS ahead in his respective lane. Top lane as well, potentially with some difficulties here, as Gator is falling lower and lower every time we pan up to him. See Don Ricardo getting engaged on, but this time there's Lil Maserati around, but Varsal is also here. Oh, Living Alts forces Starforger's flash. That is indeed Starforger in the mid lane, guys. He's on a different account. And we see the Vladimir ult getting drops to heal up. A lot of pressure here. As expected, the Orianna does beat out the Vladimir, especially earlier on. Vlad really desperately needs items to function as a champion. So getting zoned off this early CS and XP is your best win condition against him. Alright, the Agony bot lane recalls most likely has that BF sword, and yes, it is the case. Hido would be picking up a BF sword here, and there it is, locked in. Ventus having a bit of a hard time, struggling to get his own items. We see a 14 CS lead between the ADCs. That's no joke, guys. That's more than 2 waves of minions ahead, and it will continue increasing. We also see Hido and Puldu rotating to the top side. Grantless is already in the bot lane, but Washed Ratones do not respond accordingly to this one. We see Lil Maserati perhaps a bit too far ahead there. He should be able to spot the rotation, and he does back off in time. He will not be dropped this time. Does mean a nice grab secured here for Agony, especially with the Jinx. You'd love to have that. The CS disparity is no laughing matter at the moment, with 20 CS lead for Hido. Absolute insanity. We also have a 12 CS lead for Living in the mid lane. It's just being very hard for Starforger to find his footing with the Vladimir. Lil Maserati yet to make his presence known. We see a potential gank in the mid lane. The W does land, but the phase rush from Living is just strong enough to get him out of harm's reach. Still pushing on those, Starforger still trying to find the play. We see Gator here in the meanwhile on the 1v2 position. He gets a lot of damage out, but not before taking more than half his health. He will be forced off this tower soon. If he stays around, he's surely gonna get ganked and dove there. Let's see. Just goes to show sometimes just the sheer difference in skill between high elo people and maybe higher elo people. I mean, the CS alone is just crazy in my eyes. The only one managing to hang in there is Gator Gold against Grantless. But everywhere else, Wash Ratones are really suffering a CS disparity. And now with the second kill, this puts Agony at the 2k gold lead. We should also be seeing some plates going into Living's pockets here, as grabs were taken before. It does give some breathing room for Ventus to farm up, but I mean, it's gonna be Hido doing the same thing here on the top side. He's already sitting on 1.2k gold, so he should have his Yuntals ready in base, and he is recalling for it. See recalls all across the board. Pullo and Hido already going back to the bot lane. I assume Grantless will be going top as no real objectives now will be in the top side. Next objective being this dragon. Pretty sure Agony are comfortable to take it. They are quite ahead at the moment. Not the biggest fan of the Trinity Force Trundle. I think they could go with a bit more frontline and help. But if Agony get ahead, it's not gonna be a big difference what Trundle builds. He would literally just go full support items in this champ. Still does what he wants to do. You see the pillar coming out there. Lil Maserati might be taking a big chunk of damage here. And there's the ult from Hido from the other side. Gets the Feats of Warfare as the third kill coming out for Agony. And it's going on to the person you wouldn't want getting fed the most with his Hido. The CS got a bit better here. Still it's around the 17 mark. See Ventus gets engaged on. He does ult away, flashes across the board as Pullo tries to find the engage on him. But Ventus does get out thanks to Don Ricardo's Seraphine ult. But it does mean that Dragon will be taken by Agony as Wash Ratones really just don't have the numbers here at the moment. Starforger's in the mid lane taking the plates. You see living on the backside here, but he does get countered by Lil Maserati. Living sadly gets to see Ventus walk away with a sliver of health, but not before his teammate Varsal gets a double kill as Lil Maserati and Don Ricardo pretty much walk into him after the dragon being taken. At the very least, Starforger is getting a lot of gold in the mid lane, but is it enough to carry this game? I wonder. It's looking like a tough one for Wash Ratones to get out of. Already 5 kills to 1 for Agony with a 3k gold lead at the moment. Lots and lots of gold going on. I expect both sides to be a bit more quiet at the moment, as people tend to respect these periods before objectives. Agony know they're ahead. They don't need to force anything before the fights actually need to happen. They don't need to blow summoner spells, which will be critical for securing the fights. They know they'll win. Wash Ratones here, if they could find a play, maybe Agony misplaying, they would take it. But they also understand that risking anything at the moment could potentially even cost them the entire game. They really need to get like to an equal item range, right? So if everyone has the one item, they could potentially look for a fight. Why no Singe Rumble bot lane? Oi oi oi. Oh, we see a solo play there. Starforger actually takes down Living in the side lane. Alright, so not all doom and gloom for the Washed Ratones. We got our first solo play here. And meanwhile, Gator is taking the L and the top side here as well. Can they do it, guys? Can Starforger and Gator Gold carry their team? I'm pretty sure Ventus as well is happy to help. He's looking strong there. He already has his first item. A 3-item Sivir does a lot more than what a 3-item Jinx does, as far as I can tell. So let's see. Starforger here maybe pushing a bit his luck. He dodges the ult. Lil Maserati on the sideline. They just force the shockwave off living and back off. See Starforger getting very low. Will back off thanks to his W. In the meanwhile, mid lane turret for Ratones goes down. Kido gets engaged on as Gator Gold finds a great angle. Here comes the Galio ult as Gruntless ults in. Gator falls low. 3 members of Agony are at half health at the moment. A great Seraphine ult. Gruntless is falling very low, but he will not fall enough to get away from it. Ratones almost taking the 3v4 there, and Ventus is trying his best to keep his team alive. To be honest, not looking all that bad, but the slight differences, getting the recalls off, the extra gold from the minions, it will all start counting very soon. See Don Ricardo flashing away, respecting the damage that can come out of living at the moment. And there's Dragon coming up next as well. Agony, I'm sure, wanted will be their sole point. Ratones looking to deny it. We see Gator Gold teleporting in. Living looks very close in my eyes. But Ratones do not go for it. They instantly start Dragon without even thinking about it here. And Gator Gold is in a bit of trouble here. He does not have his ult and he goes down first in this fight. And it doesn't look like it will be a fight as all of Ratones simply back away after Gator Gold falls down. So they lost their teleport, they lost Gator Gold, they lost the soul point as well. A lot of things not working out at the moment. We see Pullo trying to impress with the driving skills. It goes straight into the wall. It's looking like a done deal here as Agony are really leading the game at the moment. Can Ratones recover? Kido looking very strong. He's sitting on 900 gold. Not enough for his next item. I assume he's going to complete his Hurricane. Agony displaying a good showcase of what to do when ahead. They know where all of Ratones are. They have good wards and vision on all entrances. They're just simply holding the waves until this next objective. They will be fighting around Atakan in the 20-minute mark. We already see some recalls going out. Pull for his wards, living, potentially finishing his Leandries, and there it is. It's gonna be very strong for this next fight. Ratones in theory should not even try to engage this at all, as this next fight Agony are sitting on 2 items to Ratones 1. Let's see what actually happens. Seems like Ratones won this fight. They're an item behind, so this could get rough. Gator Gold starts the fight on Varsal and Gruntless, but so far he's falling low. Polo goes in, gets 3 members of Wash Ratones in his ult. 2 people falling thanks to Living and Hido, and that's 3 people. And a complete wipe of 4 members from Wash Ratones. I thought this might happen, but it's a fight that they wanted to take. And Atakan will be secured on top of the kills for Agony, extending their lead even further. This could be a 24-minute game, guys. We could even have an end before Baron. Agony looking unstoppable in this series. Gator falling low. He doesn't have his ult. He cannot pick up the blob in time. As Living finishes him off. It's very risky play to take. We also lost Flash on top. I mean, Wash Ratones are seeming desperate in my eyes. They're not really sure what to do to get ahead, despite their best efforts. See, Wash Ratones taking another fight here. Pulu falls low. Starforger is also low on the back end there. Gator fails the stun. There's a big shockwave, but it hits no one. And he does unstoppable, taking the first 2 kills. Gator Gold falls. His passive saves him, but it's only a matter of time before he drops 2. There's a double kill going in the hands of Hido, with one of the other kills going for Gruntless. That's 3 kills for none, favoring Agony. Agony, Agony, Agony. Complete demolition of the game. Not even dropping 1 turret. Not even dropping 1 objective from start to finish. Wash Ratones haven't caught a breath. The only play we've seen this entire game was Starforger diving Living in the bot lane side turret. Very, very rough, and with the Cloud Soul on top, one of the highest win rate Dragon Souls you could get, I have my doubts. There's the Shockwave, Lil Maserati falling low, Hidot gets the ult off as well, and that's an unstoppable Living on top of things. There's the bot lane tier 2 going down. Hidot's excited. A lot of damage coming out onto Wash Ratones. This could be the end before Baron, as we predicted. There's the other turret, focusing on the inhibitor. Now if Agony wipe Wash Ratones here, it's the end of the game. Starforger goes down, Gator Gold goes in. We see Don Ricardo on the backline getting engaged by Gruntless and Varsal. Hido managing to kite out the other 2 members of Wash Ratones, as it's only Ventus left to defend the game, and this could be the game, guys. Agony look to finish. First turret down, second turret going down, and now it's all the Nexus. Maserati trying to take on the entire of Agony team, but Agony are on top of things. Living ends the game in godlike, and that's a victory for Agony. A massive win.